Every minute, somewhere in the world, a life is stolen, not just physically but mentally and emotionally too. This is the horrifying reality of sex trafficking. This unseen battle rages on a global scale with devastating implications. It's a pervasive issue, one that doesn't discriminate by country or continent. It's estimated that tens of thousands of people are trafficked every year. A staggering majority of these victims are women and children, their lives forever scarred by these horrific experiences. But it's not just the human cost that's alarming. This illicit trade generates vast profits, amounting to billions of dollars every year, feeding a cycle of exploitation and cruelty. It's a clandestine world, operating in shadows, far removed from the gaze of mainstream society. Sex trafficking isn't a distant problem. It's happening right here, right now, maybe even in your neighborhood. Understanding the signs of sex trafficking could mean the difference between life and death, freedom and slavery. It's a harsh reality, but one we must face head-on. Traffickers employ a myriad of tactics to ensnare their victims, and it's essential we crack this code to help protect ourselves and the ones we hold dear. Manipulation and deception often take center stage in a trafficker's playbook. They might promise a better life, a lucrative job, or a loving relationship, only to exploit those they've deceived. Force is another grim tool in their arsenal, with victims being physically restrained or threatened. Coercion, too, plays a key role, with traffickers using psychological manipulation to control their victims. So what signs could indicate that someone you know might be a victim of sex trafficking? Sudden changes in behavior or demeanor can be a red flag. If a friend or loved one suddenly becomes secretive, withdrawn, or displays signs of fear, depression, or anxiety, it may be cause for concern. Unexplained gifts or possessions, or an older controlling boyfriend or girlfriend can also be warning signs. In the face of such a monstrous crime, vigilance is our shield. If you notice these signs or any other suspicious activity, don't hesitate to report your suspicions to local authorities. Remember, you could be helping to save a life. Knowledge is power, and it's our weapon against this heinous crime. The fight against sex trafficking begins with you and me. It begins with us. In this battle, knowledge is our strongest weapon. Educating ourselves and others about the realities of sex trafficking is a critical first step. By understanding the signs, we can potentially save lives. This knowledge helps us to identify potential victims and report suspicious activities to the authorities. Advocacy is another powerful tool in our arsenal. We can lobby for stronger laws and regulations to protect vulnerable populations and penalize offenders. We can also use our voices to raise awareness, shattering the silence that often surrounds this issue. Supporting organizations that work tirelessly to end sex trafficking is another way to take action. These groups provide crucial services to victims, from rescue operations to rehabilitation programs. Donating our time, money, or skills can make a real difference in their work. Lastly, we can be conscious consumers, making sure that the products we buy are not linked to human trafficking. By choosing ethically produced goods, we can put pressure on companies to ensure their supply chains are free from exploitation. Everyone has a role to play in this fight. It might seem like an overwhelming task, but remember this: every action we take, no matter how small, contributes to the larger effort to end sex trafficking. Together, we can bring an end to this global nightmare. Every life saved, every victim rescued, brings us one step closer to a world free from the chains of sex trafficking. In the last few minutes, we've unveiled the dark underbelly of our society, the silent epidemic of sex trafficking. We've shed light upon its vast scale, a haunting reality that lurks in the shadows of our everyday lives. It's a grim picture, but not one without hope. Remember, knowledge is power. Recognizing the signs of trafficking, the unexplained wealth, the fearful behavior, the lack of personal possessions, these are the first steps in cracking the code of this heinous crime. And let's not forget the power of action, from reporting suspicious activity to supporting organizations fighting against this plague. Every effort counts. It's about creating a safer world for you and the ones you hold dear. The battle is far from over, But with awareness, vigilance, and action, we can and we will turn the tide against sex trafficking.